Been a long journey. Cough off. But today I just want to give thanks for all of us being here. Masi. Been a long life. But Masi na handeke jo amigo de Masi. The people's land here. I thank them all. But my heart and my song going to be here for the people, for wellness, for goodness, and for healing. Because we need it in all our communities. It's not only here. Oh man, where I come from and coming here is two different worlds of my people. Because my family comes from this side. We're still in the bush on the other side of that mountain. We're still traditional, trying to keep it like that. So with that, Trina and I are just going to sing a song for protection, goodness, healing of people.
Full name is Joseph Ernest Lennie. People kind of find that confusing because all my life I've been known as Ernie Lennie, but it's actually my middle name, Ernest.
My name is Jared Nuvliga, and I'm from Cambridge Bay, Nunavut. So the first question we came up with is just what is storytelling?
Storytelling. Well, when I look back in the cultures, I think every culture has storytelling as a means of passing on knowledge, traditional knowledge. In our case, living on the land where our ancestors come from, that's what it was all about. And how they passed their knowledge on was, of course, through their language, and a lot different from today. I think is that we learn by doing, by observing most of the time.
A lot of people did learn that way, yeah.
Yes,
For sure.
and as an Indigenous person, I see that it's quite challenging to have a kind of a land-based curriculum where you're learning on the land, whether it's to harvest or to hunt. to provide for your family is one thing, and of course, in today's society, where because we're being taught in English and we're learning stories in English, a lot of our stories come from that kind of background, and of course, it's a big difference from our language and how we learn and relate that way. So, yeah, storytelling me is just it's a natural way of communicating.
Yeah, because it's definitely it's important, as we get older.
Yeah.
Where I'm a big brother.
Yeah.
You are an elder, I think. You're becoming one, maybe.
Yeah.
Whatever you're a helper, you said earlier.
Well, I'm being very humble. I'm being very humble about it. In one way, I mean, we're always surprised that, as our elders said, when I was young, time passes quickly. Well, when you're young, you never think about it. You think time is forever. But when you get to this place in time where you're considered a senior citizen, like I think recently, because in indigenous communities, so many of our people left this world during COVID, that normally someone of my age, say 69, 70, is still considered, a young person. But because we lost so many elders now, we're the next in line
right.
to carry on what we have learned from them, and I guess it's time for us, as I call myself young people, still learning. I call myself an elder in training, because I have a lot left to learn from that traditional knowledge of living on the land. It's still something that that's very close to my heart, to be able to live on the land. But because of work and stuff, we're forced in a way to leave our community and and work in other environments in different places and stuff like that. So unless you can sustain yourself in your community, and if there's work there, then you have to move. That's basically what,
right.
Yeah.
So you said you don't see yourself as an elder yet?
No.
Because I feel you don't have all the knowledge that you feel you need, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well, it has
land
to.
stuff,
It has to do with identity. Most of my life, like I said, having gone through 10 years of residential school, I lost a lot of things in the sense of my language or my way of life, of hunting on the land, of living in my community. I've been traveling most of my life, and with different cultures, different people. Because of cross-country skiing, I lived all across Canada, and so I've lived in many cultures, and maybe that's why I feel comfortable today traveling and meeting people.
What is the responsibility of being a storyteller?
What I found coming back to university at 69, sitting with young people, a lot of things I experienced back in the 60s and 70s and 80s that they write on in the book and history is kind of limited from different people's perception. A lot of only now, as I come back to university, that I see a lot of literature on the struggle of indigenous people to tell their story.
Okay. Huh.
And so I kind of feel a responsibility that way. There's been other elders before me, there's been other writers, there's been other artists before me who I have learned from. And everyone's unique. In my case, I think what's been interesting about the family ties, your community ties to your people, your community, what kind of keeps you going.
Okay.
For me, that's what was missing in my life. That was what was kind of broken with residential school, is being displaced and growing up in a different environment with nuns and priests,
Disconnected.
with different values.
Mm.
It separated me from my community because I can't, when I came home, I couldn't communicate with my elders, can't talk the language, so I couldn't get a lot of teachings from them. Plus, 10 months of the year I'm in residential school, so I can't be out on the land. I'm not harvesting, I'm not doing anything like that. Most of my learning is coming from books. So again, that's part of what I see, what's there and what's missing. So for me, it's really important to make that connection, especially with my family. You know, a lot of them have never actually heard the story from me.
Yeah, I appreciate the time you're giving us right now. You did touch on it a bit. I mean, it is vulnerable to be a storyteller, but you have to like build yourself up to be able to just tell a story, right?
Yeah, I think that's why I'm here today. I think it's not by accident. I think, like I shared in my story, because of residential school being taken as a child, I'm still working with this little boy in me for me to get out, to overcome my fear and overcome my shyness.
You deserve to.
Yeah. And this is where I'm kind of at today, is for the first time I'm kind of sharing my experience with young people, and I think that's what's helping me kind of complete my journey, because like I said, who I am today is because of what I was given. Yes, it was a horrible experience with residential school being taken away, but out of darkness comes something good. I was challenged because I was separated, so one way for me to overcome that was to be an athlete, you know. So my experience as a cross-country skier, having gone to the Olympics in '76, is there's not very many Indigenous people that have that opportunity to leave their community and see the world. So I've had a different type of education, not just in going to school, but actually traveling, seeing other countries, seeing other cultures, living with different people across Canada. I suppose in some ways I've got a different kind of worldview because of that experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it set you up to be a better storyteller? You must have, I think.
Oh, yes.
More experience.
Yeah, I think that's what makes a storyteller. I think what's kind of interesting now, and I'm just kind of, I always carry things with me, like this is just an image of a bumblebee, because why I carry that is that it's part of my story, and what I think a storyteller does. It's an image, and I often use that. Bumblebee, and it's, again, this is how I share about my experience. Why the bumblebee is kind of important to me, that image, is that A long time ago, when I was kind of looking for my purpose and who I was, and I went to see an elder down in South Dakota, and as I said, I went out to fast for 2 days and 2 nights without water and got my name. And while I was out there, I'm sitting in a circle of tobacco ties with the 4 different colors, and with what they call a flag, would be a stick with a little, in this case I had in the north was white. We have 4 colors. And on my north flag was a white flag.
Okay.
And our elders tell us to watch everything when we go out, because it's like we're communicating with the spirit world. So for 2 days and 2 nights I was out there fasting, and I was praying, and in the final day, as I sat out there, a big bumblebee was flying around me. I'd never seen a bumblebee like that. It was pretty big. And I was kind of scared, but when you go out there and you sit in this circle of tobacco ties, you're not allowed to leave that area, no matter what, for the time that you committed. Some people do it for 4 days. I did it for 2 days and 2 nights, but this bumblebee landed on my white flag. And what that bumblebee represents to me is a bumblebee serves a colony. It serves a queen. And what a bumblebee does is it goes out like a scout and it looks for food, going from flower to flower, collecting honey, collecting whatever food that needs for the hive. Then it comes back, and what it does is it dances. It's got a in its dance, it says that this bumblebee tells the hive where the food is. So when I heard, I thought about, what does that have to meaning with my life? Well, I guess in my search, it's like a bumblebee, looking for honey, looking for knowledge, looking for wisdom. And as I go out and I look for these things, whether it's in university or on the land or learning from elders or whoever I'm learning from, I'm traveling around and I'm collecting this knowledge, something that I think I need or I want. So I collect them. And the thing about the bumblebee, not only is it collecting food and energy for the hive, it's pollinating things. That I didn't see. And that's what a storyteller does, is sharing the wisdom that I learned from my elders, my parents, from whoever, my culture, and I'm sharing that. And with the idea, it's the next generation. Someone taught me, my elders taught me, my coaches taught me, my teachers taught me. And in our culture, there's a giving and receiving, and in our culture there's a giveaway. There's actually a ceremony they call a giveaway, where whatever the Creator gives to you, whatever gifts the Creator gives to you, you're supposed to give back. So that's part of our culture and our ceremony. So through fasting and through learning from other cultures, this is what it's teaching me, is that this is in nature. This is how nature blooms.
Hey, Ernie.